All right, welcome everyone to June's Coffee Talk. Today we have our special guest, Hannah Kosel, from the food bank to talk about the emergency rental assistance program. So I will mute myself and take it away, Hannah.
My name is Hannah. I use she, her, and they, them pronouns, and I work at the Missoula Food Bank and Community Center. I just started in April working with folks to complete emergency rental assistance applications with the state program. So I'm going to share a little bit about what that looks like. I have the dates popped up here on this slide. The program started in April and it's hoping to continue until the end of December 2020. Hopefully using up all the funds that the federal government has sent Montana state to give back to tenants and landlords as a response to the COVID pandemic. Today, I'll just be going over like what this program looks like, eligibility for tenants, how to access the site online. It's an online application that can be tricky for folks and has some glitches along the way. So walking through what it looks like to create an account, making sure that all the applications pieces are completed, and then about like a general timeline as well of what the review process looks like from when folks submit their applications to then when that's accepted and payments are coming back to you as landlord. So this program, it's funded through the Federal Consolidated Appropriations Act of 2021. Money was given to the state legislature, then to the Department of Housing in Montana. And folks like me have been contracted all across the state to work with social service agencies to help folks and people that we might see often who might be in need of rental assistance going forward. I help folks fill out the application. I don't necessarily. There's another group of folks that work in Helena that actually review the applications and do that payment processing, but a few folks, at the Missoula Food Bank and Human Resource Council that are helping just folks do applications whether in person or over the phone with tenants and with landlords. What this program looks like, it's for folks who have past dues on either rent or utilities. They need to be a renter. Unfortunately, it's not available for mortgage payments, but what it can do, it covers a monthly maximum of $2,200 for any past due, and then a future 3 months of rent payments as well. The program can also help cover any utility costs that would include gas and electric, and then up to $50 a month for internet assistance as well. Eligibility requires folks to, like I said earlier, either have current past dues for rent or utilities. They would show this, rather as landlords, you could provide a ledger that would show kind of the balance, the past dues that your tenant might have. If you've delivered any rent notices or eviction notices, those can also be uploaded into the applications to prove this eligibility. Or if your tenant might be all caught up on rent, but maybe they're behind on their own personal utilities, they can still apply for this program and get rent assistance going forward. Other eligibility would be 80% of the area median income. Other qualifications, there's a piece that asks to be having been impacted directly or indirectly due to COVID-19, which can be a pretty broad thing, whether that someone has received unemployment at that time, you've had a reduction of household income, or you've just had to pay for other like childcare costs or healthcare costs. I think almost all of us could probably find yourselves in that space for sure. Next, I was just going to pull up the website of what this looks like. So this is, the website on the Montana government housing page. This talks about what I had just talked about, eligibility requirements, the monthly maximum of payments that can be given out. Here's a nice little tool that folks have. Let's say we're in Missoula County. We've got a family of 4. You can see what that income level would be to see if you would qualify. Further down on this page, it talks about the documents folks need to apply, which I can talk a little bit about as well. They would need to verify your income. That can look like your 1040 tax return form. It could look like 2 months of pay stubs. It could look like an unemployment screenshots. Also, if you have 0 income, we can just mark that as well. Tenants, when they apply, they also need a lease agreement. So that's something you as landlords might be asked to provide. And we put that in the tenant application side. And then again, as I mentioned earlier, that demonstration of need, either those rental ledgers or eviction notices, rent notices, and utility bills we would enter in. And then this part is really helpful too for both tenants and landlords. If you wanted to go forward on this application, but you wanted to do that with someone like myself, to do it over the phone, in person, you can go on here and schedule appointments. Different appointment times are available on different days, and you could be matched with anyone throughout the state. I'll have my specific contact info later on if you wanted to work with me directly. But this is a great tool, and this is how I've actually been connected with most of the tenants and landlords that I've worked with. Also shows down here, all the different partner agencies that are helping folks fill out this application. So here's Missoula, the HRC, and food bank. But the main thing of when you get to this page is actually applying for assistance. So click the big button, apply now, and it brings you to this page of application portal. Up at the top, there's this big blue notice, which I think is also good to point out that the state has been a bit behind in their applications. They have a lot going through. They've also almost paid out $8 million in funds to landlords and tenants. So they're getting through them as well, but definitely a lot of folks who have been applying. And so it has been about a 3 to 4 week wait once we do submit applications to when the state has been able to approve them and get payment sent out. So this is just a little notice about that as well. If you get to this page, you go to the bottom, click register, and it brings you to this like sign in account. I made up a email yesterday, so I'll try to go through this with you all. I would put in an email, I would make up a password, I'm making up my name, and I'd register. Once you register, an email will be sent to the email that you have provided. So I'll go over here. Then you would open it up. It just says that your account has been ready to activate. Go ahead and click activate account. And this is how you get into the website to fill out your applications. I'll press got it. Often when you sign in, you'll get this page. It has these 5 different buttons, and you click the only one that doesn't have a main gear. You'll want service now. It has all those other options because the state is just, you can do like, I think driver's license pieces. It's just a larger state website that they use. And the rent assistance is just one portion of it. So that's why it's a little tricky to find. And then up here, up on the top banner with Montana in the right-hand corner is rent help. You'll click on that. And then that should bring you to, again, this housing application portal. So this is the same thing that landlords see or tenants see as well. They'll go through that same process of creating an account and clicking on those different steps. But here's where you can select whether you are a tenant or a landlord. And then the tenant proxy is what I do. And so I can have multiple folks listed in my role. But as you all, as landlords, you would click, I am a landlord. And maybe your tenant has already filled out an application. And maybe I gave you an email or a call, and I am telling you that your tenant, Lucy, filled out an application. Here's her application number. Here's her PIN number. You would enter those right in these boxes down here and then click submit. If your tenant has not yet started an application, you can still go ahead as a landlord and begin your portion. So again, you would click I am a landlord, and then the red button, start a new application. Here, you're going to enter in your info, landlord test, landlord test 21 at Gmail, and a phone number if you wanted to provide one as well. Click submit. And you might have to refresh your page a few times here. You can normally do that by this little arrow button in the corner. And then it will pop up. So under my landlord applications, you can see that there's an application in progress. The application number that I mentioned earlier is this one on the left-hand corner. But once you get here, you can just click on this line bar that has that, and that will bring you to the landlord application form. It would have your name up here, or it might actually have your tenant's name at the top and then your name in the landlord spot. You're going through it. If your landlord has or your tenant has already filled it out, their address might already be in the spot, but if not, you can add it in. So this would be the address for your tenant, not yourself. You'll go down, make sure your information is accurate. And the rental information, this is all information that might be on the lease. It includes the start date, the end date, but the one thing that we need for sure, at least in this part, is your monthly rent amount. The rest you could leave blank if you wanted. Going further in the application, it would have their information. And then this part is really important to make sure that you're getting accurate payments. You want to put how much past dues it has. Let's say rent is $500 a month, but they're not paid the past 3 months. You put $1,500 in this amount, and then you could collect from this drop down. It was June, May, and April that they were behind on. And then if you had any late fees, you would be able to add them there as well. But this is how the state knows how much to pay you and those past dues that they owe. The tenants do not have on their application a place to put their past amount due. So this is the only place that would be. So just to make sure that that is as accurate as it can be for you. Then going further, these are boxes of pieces of information that might be on a W-9. You can put in your name. If you are working for a business, you would put that there as well. Your federal tax classification, for many it's an individual or an S corporation. LLC is available on here as well. Lots of different options. And then you would need to enter either your social security number or a TIN EIN number. You would just need one of the two to go forward. And so that just makes sure, that's how the state makes their processes for payments, is adding it up with those numbers and also making sure that, the payments are going correctly to a business as well. Right below, you can decide whether you want to receive your payments by a check or electronic funds. A check, it will take about 10 to 14 days once an application has been accepted for you to receive your check. Electronic funds, it takes a little less time, maybe just about a week. If you do click electronic funds, you'll then select checking or savings, and then add in your routing number and account number as well, are other pieces of information you would need to fill out the application. If you wanted to just go with a check, you would click save, everything should save, and then you would add in your address down here below. You're gonna have to add your address regardless as well. Make sure you hit save on this section as well. And then final steps, there's a place here to attach documents, but you shouldn't need to. It says that you could put in a W-9 here, but up in these boxes up above, we already filled out that information. So you won't need to enter in a W-9 or upload any documents there. In case if you missed something, if you didn't fill out anything like I didn't, all these red lines will show up. It will say what's still missing from your application, what is needed. And as soon as you click save, fill them out and then click save, these red error messages will leave. So that's great. You'll click this box, just certifying that everything's true and accurate. Add your name one more time, click submit, and you're done. So that's the process of what that looks like. I'm gonna go back to here. I also just took screenshots of what that looks like if you needed to go back. This is what the sign-in should be. The website to use is the one up on top. Again, clicking that service now. They had these scribbly little red circles, the rent help. And this is what it could look like with multiple applications in there at once. Like I said, the application in progress means it hasn't been fully submitted. Ready for review is like the start of the longer process there. This I had walked through, just making sure you're selecting that you're a landlord, you're not a tenant, making sure you have the correct one there. If you accidentally make a mistake, reach out to me and I can have them either delete those applications for you or get that changed as well. Again, this is just some notes that I had made on doing that application. You definitely need to write the past dues, late fees, either your social security number or TIN number, selecting if you want check or electronic fund transfer, but you don't need to upload a W-9, and then the note of the timeline for checks as well. And then this is the layout. Also something I had just mentioned over voice, but have written here of what those different application statuses can look like. And this is like the sequential order that they will go in. Here's my contact info. And just a huge thank you. It's really great that this assistance is available, and also know that that's, it's like past a year anniversary of when COVID began and a lot of financial instability hit so many folks. And so I'm just really grateful for so many very, very patient landlords who have been working with tenants in our community to make sure that folks can stay housed and that we can access these resources when they're available to us. And taking that time and effort to go through it is just very meaningful. So I appreciate you all for taking the time and learning more about it.